can feel a nice little bit of wind here, Steph.
Rushing out of Louisville, hit .254 with 4 home runs and 14 RBIs. Broken bat, Gold drifting back. Brown's going to call him off and make the play for the first out of the inning.
Eric Brown covers a lot of ground. Luke Gold, his first chance of making a putout over at second base. He's played a little third base over at Boston College. It'll be nice to see what he does over there. But Brown, yes, takes ownership of that fly ball and gets the first out.
Back-to-back innings with a pop out to short to start the inning. And now it's Zachary Agnos' turn. Out of ECU, 269, 6 home runs, 40 RBIs this season. The pitch from Jake Smith. Upstairs, 2-0.
And as we were talking about on our radio stream on MixLR, which you can follow all season long for road games, Cotuit Kettleers Radio Network, was Jake Smith had really great command of his fastball, went right at the hitters, only gave up 1 walk, but basically put the ball in play each time and let his fielders do the rest.
Slider doesn't break, stays upstairs, 3 balls, no strikes. Smith, when he played at the State College of Florida, 5-1, 1.57 ERA with 59 strikeouts over 40 innings pitched.
Yeah, just video game numbers from number 47 as he pitches a 4-pitch walk, his second of the game, but it's just nice to see the guys that want to spot the pitches that come from areas that aren't Division I to start off and then, make their dreams come true of playing high-level baseball, and then they're here. We had a couple stories on the other side for Hyannis yesterday. The pitcher from Wingate, who you know well, that picked up the win and essentially dominated the Kettleers hitters last night, and he's a guy that played Division II, and he got the opportunity with Hyannis, and McCollum has taken it with full force.
Colby Thomas, first pitch he sees, below the knees, 1-0. Shows bunt, pushes one to the right side, but it goes foul, evening the count up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Another thing about Smith, had a 0.00 ERA versus conference opponents at the State College of Florida. Certainly an arm you want in your rotation if he's feeling good. You mentioned he's now at the University of Miami. Bunt showed again, but he pulled back in time. 2 balls and a strike.
He's got interesting numbers, 247, 10 home runs, 37 RBIs from Mercer. Our neck of the woods. A couple of Mercer players are featured on this roster for the Bourne Braves.
2-1 coming from Smith. Fastball misses high and outside, 3-1. Potential green light situation for Thomas. Perhaps a hit and run with Zachary Agnos standing on first base. Here it comes. High and tight. There are going to be runners on first and second with just 1 out. So Jake Smith issues his 3rd walk of the game. He's going to get a conversation from Matt Donlin and Eric Brown. Excuse me.
It's good that he got the first out of the inning, Steph, but these back-to-back walks aren't concerning, but they don't want to let Bourne have the first lead of the game, especially considering how well Bourne has played in the long run of the last couple of games.
Peter Burns now has his chance with a runner in scoring position. That runner, of course, being Zachary Agnos. Fastball touches the outside corner, called strike, 0-1. Coach Mike Roberts, you knew he was going to mix something up after last night's loss. And he has Luke Gold playing second base. Eric Brown manning the duties at shortstop. It's an 88-mile-an-hour changeup, tails away too far outside, 1-1. little bit of history. Bourne's most recent championship came against Cotuit in 2009, where they beat the Kettleers for their second championship in league history.
There's a lot of history for this Bourne Braves team that we'll be able to unpack today, but you know, it's just so interesting. Coach Shapiro has such a great resume with this team, and these players rally around him like nothing we've ever seen before. Maybe Coach Roberts is comparable, but it's the same type of makeup.
So that one's fouled back into the screening. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Last year, Cotuit was 3-1-1 against the Braves. Similar coaching on these teams. Mike Roberts entering his 17th season with the Kettleers. Harvey Shapiro, his 18th season, as the 1-2 misses outside.
So you got an even count here. You got to go with the pitch that's been working, and right now he's had a little bit of command issues with that fastball, but when he's been able to throw that changeup that goes inside, it works very well for him.
2-2. Spoiled foul back once again towards the snack bar. And the race is on from the kids over on the right side of the field.
Yeah, he did go with that changeup there. Broke to the outside. Was read in well by Peter Burns.
Pitch from Smith. Gets him to pop up. And Eric Brown's calling off the left fielder. But it will be Brooks Baldwin who makes the play. 2 down for the Kettleers. That's a welcomed out by Jake Smith.
Yeah, that was a big one too. Very important as he gets to the number 9 hitter. But yeah, good communication there from the outfield, and Brown, who's getting his first start over at shortstop. He had a few dazzling plays in the hole yesterday when he switched in for Ryan Ritter in the back end of the Hyannis game. No doubt he'll show some of that glove action today against the Bourne Braves if the ball comes to him.
First pitch misses outside. And to the bottom of the order we go. Tanner Schobel out of Virginia Tech. His numbers, 279, 7 home runs, and 33 RBIs for the Hokies in 2021. 1-0 from Smith. And he gets him to softly pop out to John Rhodes in center if he gloves it, and he does. Smith gets out of a jam, will enter the bottom of the second on the Kettleers Digital Network. Six, 7, and 8 coming up for the Kettleers, and they're trying to get their first run of the game. 0-0 your score at Lowell Park. Stephen Carey joined by my brother Chris Carey. Did our introductions on MixLR before this while we were figuring out some technical difficulties. But Brooks Baldwin will get his chance. Switch hitter batting from the left side today. Went 0 for 3 last night in Hyannis. First pitch from Van Loon as Baldwin shows bunt but pulls back on the outside fastball.
Baldwin, a guy that's had his struggles at the plate thus far, has put the ball in play quite a few times, but they got to keep him in the order because he's just such a high-powered hitter. 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts yesterday, and it's because of the pitching performances of Hyannis, Tommy McCollum, and then Cade Halimanu, who started for the Hawks.
Baldwin finally decides to swing, couldn't catch up, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. So a little bit of history about the Bourne Braves. After World War II, teams started playing in upper and lower divisions as the 2-1 misses outside. Of course, these divisions were on the upper and lower Cape, but the Bourne Braves were known as the Canal Men. They went by several names in that era as Baldwin fouls away the 3-1 pitch. They joined Brewster as one of 2 teams in expansion in 1988 as the Bourne Braves, so that's how they officially came to be as the team that we see now. It's the 3-2 coming. Brooks Baldwin sends one out into the right center field gap. That's going to get down to the wall. Baldwin will streak into second, and he's aboard with a double with no outs.
And that's his first hit on the Cape. And that wind is blowing in. He hit that quite hard, dropped in between the right and center fielder. And nobody's happier to be on the base paths more than Brooks Baldwin. Big cracking double. Now that welcomes Luke Gold, which is an interesting topic of conversation, Stefan. He's starting at second base today.
A guy that many people in this area are really excited to watch. And Chris's numbers speak for themselves as that fastball misses low and inside. Hit .316 this year at Boston College with 9 home runs and 45 RBIs. Took over the lion's share of the DHing duties in Boston, but now he's playing second base. He's got a big hole on the right side if he wants to use it. The pitch. He lifts one high and deep out to right center field. Fedko will not make the play. It's Lampy, and he'll fire it into third, and Baldwin gets in safely. Agnos tried to hold the tag, but Baldwin never came off the bag, so an effective out moves the runner over for Luke Gold.
And that was in the air for a long time. We didn't know whether Lampy or Fedko was going to get to it, but Lampy actually made the catch on the left side of his body, had to contort to make a really great throw, super accurate to Agnos. If Baldwin had broken a second later, he probably would have been tagged out. Lucky break for Cotuit here.
Now it's Nathan Martirella's turn. Fastball upstairs, 1-0. And we talked about Luke Gold being a DH at his college. Well, Martirella was typically the first baseman at California Berkeley for the Golden Bears, but now he's DHing. 2-0 pitch falls in for a strike, 2-1.
That one missed outside, Steph. It certainly looked like a strike. It'll stay 2-0.
And you're absolutely right, Chris. Scoreboard confirms it. But now Martirella has a 3-0 count and a runner on third. It's going to be hard to convince him not to swing here. But all it would take is fly ball to the outfield to bring home the speedy Baldwin. 3-0 pitch. Take sign was on, and Martirella obeyed.
Now you got to think the green light situation is open for number 18.
Pitch coming. And just grazes the outside corner. Starting to see what Tom Ryberg likes in his strike zone. Outside pitches going to be the key to left-handed batters. Full count, pitch incoming. And it is shot into right field. That's going to bring home the first run of the game for Cotuit. Nathan Martirella delivers, and it's a 1-0 lead here at Lowell Park.
That's 3-2 hitting, textbook there from Nathan Martirella. Take what you're given, and he did just that. Shot it into the gap between first and second base. Kettleers cash in run number 1 against the Bourne Braves here in the bottom of the second inning.
Matt Donlin getting his first cuts as a Kettleer. Touted as one of the best defensive catchers in the country, but kind of an unknown. Now he's playing at UConn. We're really excited to see what he can do. Ben Rice had been getting it done with the bat. Now Donlin getting his chance with Nathan Martorella standing on first. And only one out. One 0. A lot more right-handed hitters in this lineup than we're used to seeing. Past two games, we've seen that gauntlet of lefties to play the matchup game. It's worked out so far. 1-0 lead for Cotuit as Donlin gets inside on one. Lampy will make the catch. Throw back to first is not in time. Martorella got a little too far off the bag, but was able to recover and make it back safely.
Looked for a second that Lampy couldn't track that down, had to keep coming in, and ultimately made the catch. Martorella thought it might have dropped down. He was halfway between first and second, had to get on his horse back to first, and just barely beat out that throw back to first to not get doubled up here in the second.
Blake Klassen back up again. Top of the order, he struck out his last time up. First pitch he sees down in the dirt. Martorella's not going to be your big steal threat, so bringing him home most likely will have to come with the long ball from Klassen. 1-0 pitch. Sends it out to left field. Coming in to make the play is Thomas, and he'll do just that. Kettleers get one from a base hit by Nathan Martorella. We'll enter the third inning on the Kettleers Digital Network. Top of the third inning and top of the order for the Bourne Braves as the Kettleers cash in first in the bottom of the second. Nathan Martorella shot one between first and second to score Brooks Baldwin, who had his first career Cape League hit. It was a double to lead off the second inning. And boy, is that a good start for Cotuit getting ahead of Bourne as the top of the order comes back for the second time against Jake Smith.
Yeah, not a ton of concern from Jake Smith so far. The only thing that has you looking over 2 innings is the 3 walks that he's issued so far. So if he can keep those numbers down and get himself out of jams, we're going to see him go for a few innings more for sure.
Well, he made quick work of Joe Lampy, Kyler Fedko, walked Reggie Crawford, and then Braylon Wimmer had that line drive back to his glove that made a spectacular play. But welcoming you to the Kettleers Digital Network, if you're just starting to tune in, Chris Carey and Stephen Carey. As we wait the first pitch of the third, showing bunt and pulling back is Joe Lampy.
Trying to keep the defense on the toes, but now you see Cole Cummings starting to creep in on the infield grass.
1-0 pitch, up and away, gloved by Donlin. Now it's 2 balls and no strikes. Here comes the 2-0 pitch from Smith. And he did go around at a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. It's 2-1 now.
Yeah, no appeal over to the third base umpire, Brian Murphy.
Lampy out of Arizona State, 294, 3 home runs and 27 RBIs.
Fouls one the other way. Evens up the count at 2-2. His first time up, he popped out to Eric Brown. Moved over by Luke Gold to make the catch. Now the 2-2 pitch. Same pitch, same result. We'll do another.
Yeah, it's funny to see all the kids back there. They're just camping out in that spot back behind the snack bar. And that's because Jake Smith is throwing pitches to the outer half of the plate, especially against these left-handed hitters. They can't time them up, and they're shooting them back that way. So kids are going to get a lot of souvenirs if they stay back there.
2-2 pitch, breaking ball, shot into left field. Baldwin handles it comfortably for the first out of the third. So now that'll bring up Kyler Fedko, who struck out swinging, the only strikeout victim thus far against Jake Smith.
Wonder if he's having some conversation with Matt Donlin behind the plate.
Teammates at UConn. As that changeup runs a bit inside, he'll get ahead 1-0.
Hope it's not like that scene in Space Jam where they're trying to help MJ out. He's playing for Birmingham.
Another changeup inside, but up this time, 2-0. Last night, Bourne had 14 hits as a team, headlined by the 2 home runs from Braylon Wimmer and Tanner Schobel. As that's lifted high and deep to left field, Baldwin moving back at the track, off the wall, and that'll easily be a double for Kyler Fedko as he'll slam the brakes there.
Yeah, if there's any type of wind blowing out, that's a home run. Good play by Brooks Baldwin to play that cleanly. That's a good sign for the Kettleers. You don't have a run coming in to score to tie this game up. You're going to force Reggie Crawford and company to bring that run home.
Crawford, the two-way player from UConn, also says and exchanges some words with his teammate Matt Donlin behind the plate, getting his first start as a Kettleers catcher. And Donlin has been praised for his defensive abilities behind the plate. Good frame job there, doesn't get the call, 1-0 for Reggie Crawford. As I was saying, Wimmer and Schobel had a home run each in the 9-1 onslaught of the Brewster Whitecaps. Austin Parsley from UNC Greenville picked up the win in relief for the Bourne Braves. 1-0, chopped foul to the right side. Will make it 1-1 with 1 out. On the other side, Sean Rapp picked up the loss last night for Cotuit. Tommy McCollum from Wingate University gets his first Cape League win, and he pitched a gem in relief for Cade Halimanu.
Fedko looking a little antsy there at second base. Don't be surprised if you see him getting a jump early.
1-1 pitch, snap throw to second base. Throw down is off the mark, but plenty of velocity on that one, and the pop time from Donlin is the real deal. That's what we talked to Peter Flaherty Jr. about, is just watching this guy, such a cerebral catcher. He transferred that incredibly quickly and almost had a chance at nabbing Fedko at second base.
Yeah, throw just a little bit to the outside of Eric Brown. But the confidence to make that play just goes to show what Matt Donlin could do for you defensively behind the dish.
Check swing fouled away from Reggie Crawford. 2 balls and 2 strikes now for Jake Smith. That's such a luxury to have with Matt Donlin behind the plate. If he can throw that hard all the way down to second base, imagine what it's going to be like with runners trying to get a head start, not already standing there. As the 2-2 comes in, blocked well. They'll run the count full at 3-2. Wind is most certainly blowing in. We can feel it on our faces in the Mycock building, where we have our wonderful press box. Owen Zides, Jack Roberts handling the production duties today. Did an excellent job recovering from the MixLR stream. As that fastball is taken outside. Spotty zone here from the umpire behind the plate in Tom Ryberg.
Yeah, he went back to that pitch that he thought Ryberg would call, just a bit outside despite the frame job by Donlin.
So now you have the 2 home run man so far this season in Braylon Wimmer. Last time against Smith, he was robbed of a base hit. as the comebacker to the pitcher looked effortless when he made the play. First pitch to him, and Wimmer can't get the bunt down, fall in the glove of Donlin.
Let's see if Cotuit changes up their defensive strategy, knowing that Wimmer's going to show bunt. He's already hit 2 home runs, so this is a dangerous situation, and surprising they had him show bunt.
Now the 0-1. And this is a very, very tight zone from Ryberg to start the game. A ball and a strike now. The Braves have a base runner in scoring position. And Kyler Fedko had a double with 1 out to start the 3rd. That's a good changeup right there to get back ahead in the count. It's 1-2.
Yeah, it looked like a changeup, but it had action more to the outside, so I think it was a slider, but pretty fast for a guy that sits at 92, 83 miles an hour. Good to get him ahead in the count.
1-2 pitch. That's lined into right field. Beavers coming on. We'll see if he'll tag. He will not from second base. Fedko didn't want to test the arm of Dylan Beavers, and I don't blame him. He got that in quickly. And the Kettleers avoid any further advancement from first and second.
You know, going back on that at bat with Braylon Wimmer, showing bunt on the first pitch, we've seen that a couple times. We saw it at the top of the inning with Joe Lampe, and I wonder if it's sort of a mental game that they're playing, and if it's Shapiro's idea to get his players inside the head, maybe missing off the plate, steal the ball, or adjust their positioning.
This one's fouled away by Dalton Rushing. He popped up to Eric Brown in the second inning. More information about the Braves. They started as a sandwich team in 1867, where there were 4 clubs as we await the 0-1 pitch. And that is low and outside. It'll be 1-1. There were the Nichols Club, Independent Club, Shawnee Club, and American Club. And then it slowly formed into a Bourne Club that you talked about, the Canalmen. And you said they, in 1988, expanded to the Cape League. As the slider comes in and misses inside, it's a 2-1 count.
Looks like Jake Smith wants a conversation about pitch location. Maybe Donlin's having a conversation with Tom Ryberg about why these pitches aren't getting called. So just a little bit more information for your starting pitcher, but a ton of rich history in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cotuit, of course, forming in 1947. 17 league championships, looking for an 18th. And that's the reason why so many people in this community turn out, even on a rainy, muggy, sticky night here in Cotuit.
Bourne has 24 Hall of Fame inductees, including the manager Harvey Shapiro, who's set to be inducted in November for his many, many years of service. Fastball misses away, and the last thing that Smith wants to do is walk Rushing for Zachary Agnos.
Yeah, expect a 3-1 take here. 2 outs, base runners are more important than trying to be a hero.
3-1, and he does not take on a high fastball and misses. Back to what we were talking about. Notable alumni include Tommy LaStella, Harrison Bader, and Pete Alonso. They've had 5 league MVPs, 8 pitchers of the year, 3 batting champions, and have won once in 2009.
Yep, that's their only championship win of the modern era.
3-2 payoff. That's lined into right field. That's going to get down. Beavers bobbles the ball. That'll easily score the first run of the game for Bourne. It's first and third now, and the game's all tied in the third.
Yep, Kyler Fedko got a jump on it, 3-2 pitch. You knew the runners were going to be going early. Just a perfect execution of a hit and run. And what are you going to do if you're Jake Smith? You have to throw a pitch down the middle or else you load the bases up, but might want that one back.
And that's how Harvey Shapiro coaches them up. Is there are situations like this where they want them to work the counts and then shoot the gap. And right there, Dalton Rushing made Jake Smith pay. Now runners on the corners, and Mike Roberts will discuss with his starting pitcher. Back at Lowell Park, Chris Carey, Stephen Carey for Zachary Agnos. No count for him with runners on the corners here in the third. Pretty slider there, gets the strike call, and Smith is ahead at 0-1.
I'm surprised he hasn't gone to that more often. That front door slider seems to be working for him. Sits around 81, and we saw it at 83. So not a ton of action. These guys are expecting it to break more, but good pitch for Smith.
0-1, and that's lined into left field. The second run of the game for Bourne will score. They've taken the lead as Agnos hit the hanging slider and didn't miss it. Back-to-back RBI singles for the Bourne Braves. And this offense just keeps cooking into game 3.
Well, and right as I'm talking about that slider, comes back, leaves it middle in, and Agnos didn't miss it. I think it's going to be the end of the day for Jake Smith.
It is. Jake Smith's day is done. He'll have 2 runners on that he could possibly inherit for the next relief pitcher for the Kettleers. We'll see who it is and more when we return on the Kettleers Digital Network. Back in the top of the third with a new pitcher and an interesting situation for the Kettleers as they lost the lead 2-1 after back-to-back RBI singles from Dalton Rushing and Zachary Agnos to score Fedko and Reggie Crawford. It's 2-1, and TJ Brock is on the mound for the second time this year for the Kettleers. Last time he came in the 9th, had a poor performance, got a little jittery, but that's what Coach Roberts said was, I don't think anything of it. But this guy who's supposed to be our everyday closer, they're putting him in a situation here with a 2-1 deficit and base runners on in a possible closing situation, almost like a mock closing in the third inning.
Well, it's perfect. It's doing damage control, and what a good situation for TJ Brock to come out, kick the rust off, get the Kettleers out of the inning where they lost the lead. So I think it's good. I think Coach Roberts had a plan in when exactly he wanted to get TJ Brock back in the situation, and it's no slouch with TJ Brock out of Ohio State. Hit anywhere from 95 to 98 miles an hour with relative ease. So see if he decides to bring the flamethrower or if he wants to drop some pitches in there off speed.
Here's the first pitch from Brock, and that's grounded to short. Eric Brown takes an all hop and flips to second just in time to Gold for the third out. One pitch gets one out, and TJ Brock gets out of the inning for Cotuit. It's a 2-1 lead for Bourne as we head to the home half of the third on the Cotuit Kettleers digital network. Bottom of the third inning, the Kettleers trail 2-1 to the Bourne Braves after back-to-back RBI singles. TJ Brock came in to clean up the mess and had a one-pitch, one-out grounder that was scored a 6-4 fielder's choice. Now the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Kettleers will face Van Loon for the second time, starting with Cole Cummings, who had a single in the first.
Yeah, I think he's upped his performance since his parents got into town. Roy Reese, our public address announcer, brought that up. And we talked about it yesterday. 2 for 4 with a walk. And, of course, that line shot up the middle to open up the hit parade for the Kettleers.
1-0 pitch in the dirt, snagged well by Burns behind the plate. Excuse me, now it's 3-0.
Yeah, he had that 4-pitch walk yesterday against Hyannis in a relatively important situation.
Here's the 3-0 pitch. It's a called strike by Ryberg behind the plate. 3 balls and a strike. All we need is a leadoff runner in the heart of the order. Most certainly has the capabilities to take care of the rest, and that will happen to start the third. A single and a walk for Cole Cummings. And it's first walk of the day for Peter Van Loon. That's something Cole Cummings has done well since coming to Cotuit, is get on base consistently. So now Dylan Beavers, who had a single of his own to start the day, will stand in for the second time with Cummings hugging first base. Ball in the dirt, that'll get away from Burns, and easily getting into second is Cole Cummings, rounding hard but electing to stay there. Is number 4.
That's the first real mistake we've seen from Burns behind the plate. Just a fastball that got down in the dirt and through the legs of Peter Burns. And Cummings thought about going to third on that one. That big, far backstop here at Lowell Park, and I'm sure it's tempting, but good job by Cummings. Knows that the Kettleers need a run here in the third inning to tie this game. Just put yourself in scoring position. Put yourself in situations where one of the best hitters on this team can bring you home.
We know Beavers has plus power, but with the wind blowing in, it's going to be ever tougher to try and take that lead via a home run. But a single will do just fine here in the third inning to match it, with John Rhodes waiting on deck.
Another factor to consider is the weather coming in.
1-0 pitch, breaking ball. Just stayed too high. It's 2-0 for Dylan Beavers. Line for Jake Smith, 2.1 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 4 walks, and 1 strikeout. 2-0 pitch for Beavers. 2.2 innings pitched. My bad, that's of course because Brock came in with 1 pitch as Beavers takes a called strike.
A lot of space on the left side. Beavers likes to go opposite field.
And it seems like Van Loon is paying a lot of attention to Cole Cummings at second base. He's stepped off a couple of times in this at-bat alone.
Well, it's got to be hard. You have a runner in scoring position in the most dangerous part of the order coming up.
And the 2-1 pitch misses away. Fastball at 90 miles an hour. And Burns had to corral that one into the right side batter's box.
Yeah, you see a lot more activity from Burns behind the plate after allowing that pass ball. Really does not want Cole Cummings to get to third here.
Here's the 3-1 now from Beavers, or 2 Beavers, excuse me, and that'll walk him. Now 2 runners will be aboard for John Rhodes. And it looks to be the end of the day for Peter Van Loon. Cotuit made a change in the top of the third inning. Now here in the bottom of the third, the Braves will elect to go to the bullpen. We'll have who's coming on and more up next. Bottom of the third in Cotuit, and Jordan Patty is on in relief of Peter Van Loon. He went 2 innings, gave up 4 hits. Now the earned runs and runs are to be determined because there are 2 runners on the base paths for the product of Central Michigan, who in college is a starting pitcher. He pitched 91 and a third innings, went 9-2 with a 2.46 ERA. So great stuff from the Chippewa.
Yeah, expect him in here for the long relief.
And he'll look back to Cummings, similarly to how Peter Van Loon did. 2020 was named the MAC Pitcher of the Week in mid-February. Had 3 complete game shutouts in 2021. Now Rhodes showed spunt, pulls back, and gets the called strike behind 0-1.
Yeah, pay attention to the defensive positioning. Wimmer playing a little bit far off the first base side. Should Rushing have to come make a play, it's going to be a close play at first.
Now the 0-1. Rhodes still shows bunt. Tries to put it down. It's off the catcher. And the runners will advance. Not sure if Rhodes pulled back on that one, but definitely didn't make contact. That's the second pass ball for the Braves.
So now John Rhodes has the freedom to just swing away. All he needs is a pop out to the outfield or maybe even a ground ball deep enough in the infield. Virtually anything to the right side is going to score Cole Cummings.
Now you'll think he'll have to swing away at 1-1, and he does. Looping single into center field. Cummings will score. Coming around third is Beavers. The throw is late. It's a 3-2 ball game, and the Kettleers reclaim the lead in the third. How about John Rhodes manufacturing some offense of his own after pulling back on the bunt twice? And it worked masterfully for the Kettleers as they tally 2 with nobody out in the bottom of the third inning.
Yep, so Patty is only going to inherit 1 of those runs.
Both of those runs will actually go to Van Loon after the back-to-back walks. An 0-1 count for Brown now. Fouls that away quickly behind 0-2. Final line on Van Loon. 2 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. And an 0-2 count for Eric Brown. He skies that one into center field. Lampy moving in, still going, and that's going to drop down. The wind is playing tricks on the Bourne Braves outfield. We've seen a couple of times that Lampy broke back and then came all the way in. And that's a base hit for Eric Brown after flying out and left his first time up.
Now you turn it over to Brooks Baldwin, who has the only real piece of solid contact so far today. He had that double into the right center field gap. And he later scored a run after the Nathan Martorella base hit. So a pretty good inning, good response from Cotuit after Bourne took the lead in the top of the third inning.
First pitch to Brooks Baldwin is low and away in the dirt. He's ahead 1-0. Baldwin had his first Cape League hit his first time up. This game, it was a double to right center field that kept carrying, but dropped just shy of the wall.
Looks like the strategy is the same. Lay down the bunt, move the runners over. ABC baseball.
Patty tried to throw down to second base, but Rhodes slid in before the throw could be made. Still nobody out in the bottom of the third inning. After this, we'll have a nice report from Lauren Kirkley, our sideline reporter from Clemson.
Low and away, 2-0 now for Brooks Baldwin.
So now he's got 2 strikes. He's ahead in the count. I'd be surprising. 2 balls. He's ahead in the count. Figure he probably won't show bunt here. Might as well just take the walk if you can draw one.
Agnos shifted in on third. He will show bunt, but pull back. Third straight ball from Patty. And in this situation, you think it's probably going to be a 3-0 take for Brooks Baldwin to welcome Luke Gold, who has plenty of power off of his right-handed bat.
Yeah, now Baldwin, almost surefire take here on 3-0.
Here it is, showing bunt again, fouls it away. The fan had to react out of that one. 3 balls and a strike now for Brooks Baldwin. Has a chance again to lay down a bunt. He has plenty of speed across the base paths. Agnos is shaded in on third base. Rest of the infield is at their usual depth. But the shortstop, Schobel, is right behind second base trying to hold John Rhodes. Here's the 3-1. Baldwin trying to lay the bunt down. He cannot, and he'll have to swing away at 3-2.
And I'm really surprised by this. You've let Patty get back in the count just by bunt attempts. Just do the take. But, you got to take Coach Mike Roberts' word. And like another figurehead in our world, he works in mysterious ways.
3-2 pitch coming to Brooks Baldwin. And that one is low and away. And it'll load him up for Luke Gold out of Boston College.
Those are some terrifying words for a pitcher. Loading it up for Luke Gold. He's capitalized on a lot of these situations over at Boston College. 9 home runs, 45 RBIs. We said it his first time up. But he gave a ball a ride to right field last time up. Now he has the whole field to work with and nobody out.
First pitch to Gold. Takes the fastball in the outside corner, 0-1. Now we saw Gold against the Lexington Blue Sox come off the bench as a pinch hitter, and he sailed a ball in the left field bullpen off of one knee. So there's no lack of power, and he has the strength to even handle the wind that's been blowing in. Slider away, 1-1 now.
And I have to appreciate Luke Gold's patience and his tenacity. Didn't play the first 2 games after being the man at Boston College. Now he's getting his opportunity, and it's situations like this where you really cement yourself as a guy that's going to play every single day. So can't ask for more.
1-1, blocked well by Burns. He'll make it 2-1. Yesterday, a couple of score lines. Orleans lost to Chatham 3-6. Wareham lost to Falmouth at home 8-4. YD and Harwich. YD got the win on the road. Cotuit, of course, lost to Hyannis at McKeon Park. As we await the 2-1 pitch, here it comes. Gold tried to shoot it to right, but fouled it back towards us. It's even at 2-2. And then Bourne beat Brewster 9-1. Little too early for standings, but Bourne is in first in the West, followed by Falmouth, then Hyannis, then Cotuit, and Wareham sitting in last with an 0-2 record. 2-2 pitch to Gold. That's a fly ball towards left. Tracking it is Thomas. We'll see if there's a tag from Rhodes. Catching is Thomas. Rhodes is going to go. The throw to the plate is off the line, and Rhodes scores. 4th run of the game for Cotuit, and Rhodes knew it all the way in, tagging that speed was going to prove a test for Thomas in left field. A 2-run lead for Cotuit with just 1 out. Score that as sacrifice fly for Luke Gold. That's his first RBI as a Kettleer, and it got the job done.
Well, he knew with Mike Roberts standing as the third base coach that there was going to be some aggression on that play. Most coaches probably wouldn't have sent John Rhodes there. Didn't seem deep enough. Pretty straight line for Thomas out in left field, but take the risk, take the gamble, and Pretty good situation here for Nathan Martorella, who already has an RBI today.
Martorella takes a strike for his first pitch. He had a single that scored the first run of the game. In between second and first. Shot to the right side. Nice pull hitter is Martorella, and a good situation here to get even more to his Cape League start. But he's behind 0-2 after a nice breaking ball from Jordan Patty. Eric Brown on third, Brooks Baldwin at second. John Rhodes came in to score for Nathan Martorella. It's 4-2 Kettleers. They get the lead back as Martorella fouls that one away.
Yeah, and this is the count that really impressed me with Nathan Martorella yesterday. Pretty crucial situation, runner on first, 8th inning. He was able to draw a walk 4 pitches after starting off 0-2, so very patient hitter. He's not going to swing at balls outside the strike zone.
0-2 pitch to Martorella, chopped to the left side. Schobel backhands, it will score the 5th run of the game, and Martorella gets his second RBI as a Kettleer. 5-2 now, 2 straight productive outs from Gold and Martorella will bring up the bottom of the order in Matt Donlin.
Yeah, you'll take an out for a run any day of the week if you're Cotuit. That's just good baseball. Hit it opposite field. Force him to make one play, and there was no doubt about it with Eric Brown coming in to score.
Runner goes. Throw down to third is not in time. Brooks Baldwin swipes third base. Looked like Burns had a little bit of trouble getting that ball out of his glove quickly, but Donlin takes the strike for his teammate.
Yeah, pass balls have already been an issue this inning, so the aggressive move to have Baldwin steal third isn't surprising. Now Burns behind the plate has to worry about it.
As he makes a nice backhanded stop there to keep Baldwin at bay at third base. The speed has been shown in full effect here in the 3rd inning after John Rhodes came in to tag and score the leading run, the 4th run of the game, as the 1-1 is cut on and missed by Donlin. Now it's 1-2 with 2 outs. Then Eric Brown came in to score after Martorella's great piece of hitting to shortstop. ABC baseball is how Coach Roberts likes to play it. 1-2 pitch to Donlin. Slider low and away. Evened up at 2-2. If Donlin can find a way to get on base, it'd be back to the top of the order with Blake Klassen, who we know has had a lot of success in the pinstripes so far this season. 2-2 pitch. Donlin high and deep to left field, but foul. You'll see another.
Yep, just a bit out in front on that one. If he waited just a millisecond later, that ball is heading out towards the bullpen in left field. But good to see that he has that type of power. He can barrel up these balls, and the aggression from the catcher with a runner on third is certainly a welcome sign.
2-2 pitch to Donlin, slider away, and a good eye from number 21. We've been seeing that a lot from catchers in the Cape League. They've been able to see pitches a lot better than these other guys, mostly because they're the ones doing the frame jobs on the other halves of the innings. 3-2 now to Donlin, and that is lifted high to right field. Fedko coming on, but he will be under it to make the play for the 3rd out of the inning. Donlin gave it a ride, but 4 runs come in to score for the Kettleers. It's 5-2 going into the 4th.
Here in the Cape League, collegiate prospects come to grow their game from all different backgrounds and all different skill levels. Tonight's starter Jake Smith comes to Cotuit not only from a Power 5 school in Miami, but with professional recognition as well. In 2018, the Philadelphia Phillies drafted Smith in the 21st round of the MLB draft. Smith chose to go to college and bounced around for 2 seasons before joining the Hurricanes. The right-hander seems to be finding a home in South Florida, pitching to a 3-1 record in 2021 with a 3.45 ERA and 63 strikeouts to just 14 walks. After being drafted once, Smith looks to further perfect his craft and find his way back to the Major League draft boards. Back to you guys.
Excellent work, as always, from our sideline reporter, Lauren Kirkley from the booth. It's always nice to see you in here. Wonderful analysis on Jake Smith from Miami, who has done well this game, but now TJ Brock, after throwing 1 pitch last inning and getting Colby Thomas to ground into a fielder's choice, will have his first real inning of work against the Bourne Braves, this time with a 3-run lead.
Yeah, something to pay attention to is the weather conditions, like we've been mentioning. Starting to drizzle a little bit here at Lowell Park, so gripping the ball is going to be difficult, especially with a guy who bears into it as much as Brock does with that fastball. Maybe look to see him throw his secondary pitches. We've seen that sinker and the changeup.
He goes with a changeup to start off Peter Burns, who popped out to left field his first time up. There's that fastball, but misses away, 2-0.
But interesting spot for him. Typically a closer. He's getting reps at a different area of the game that maybe he isn't super comfortable with. Middle relief probably isn't what he was expecting when he comes out here, but with a lot of scouts behind home plate, you just got to be able to showcase your abilities. Just throw strikes.
And now Brock is asking for a new ball. Definitely causing issues with his grip. And when you throw 95 miles per hour, you use a lot of spin. As there's a 4-pitch walk for Peter Burns. Not the start that TJ Brock wants. And Coach Mike Roberts is going to have to talk to his reliever. We saw some of this with TJ Brock in the first game against the Gatemen. When he came in, the home opener on Sunday, Brock had back-to-back walks. And then Abney came in to close out the game.
Yeah, and I think this conversation is really just to cool him down, because he comes in, 3rd inning, gets a ground out to shortstop. He's feeling good about himself after just 1 pitch. Then he comes in, walks the leadoff man. I think Coach Roberts is just telling him, hey, calm down. You know, trust your stuff. You have the ability. You have the pedigree. May not be the most comfortable in this area, but you only have 1 man on first and a 3-run lead. You have plenty of stuff to play with, so go and test things out. Be confident. Be comfortable. And Tanner Schobel's already flown out once today, so just be aggressive.
And there's the first pitch strike from TJ Brock. He saw Schobel showing bunt and fired it in there at 95. Here's the 0-1 from TJ. That's chopped over to 3rd, but foul. And now Brock is ahead in the count. Yeah, and this is a situation. This is a situation that we haven't seen TJ Brock in, getting ahead in this count. He did excellent work against the Lexington Blue Sox. They couldn't time him up. He can really get to know his stuff here in the Cape League now at an 0-2 count in the bottom of the order.
Well, and he isn't a one-trick pony. His fastball is his calling card, but just because you have an ace up your sleeve doesn't mean a king isn't just as good, and that's exactly what that changeup is for TJ Brock.
Donlin blocks 96 in the dirt. And we've talked a lot about Matt Donlin, and his defense is the real deal when you talk to Peter Flaherty Jr. and Coach Roberts.
Yeah, one of the nicest kids on this team.
1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss on the breaking ball. Starts him off with 2 fastballs, and then TJ Brock gives him some of the moving stuff. And And that's a big strikeout to start off his day here at Lowell Park.
Yeah, just a great response there for Brock. Fans starting to move out of the stands as more of the heavy stuff comes down.
There's a 96-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike, and now the rain is most certainly coming down. And fans starting to disperse from Lowell Park. It is playable rain at this point, but we will have to monitor the situation. We are only in the 4th inning. As there's another fastball, this time 1-1. But these conditions can start to affect pitchers that throw with high velocity.
Doesn't look like it's doing too much to TJ Brock right now. He's been hitting the zone, really trusting that fastball, still sitting at 95, 96 miles an hour.
1-1 check swing. Did he go? The appeal says yes. It will be a 2-2 count for Joe Lampe, who's 0 for 2 with a pop out to short and a fly out to left. Yeah, he's looking to at least move the runner over from first base.
That had slider action late. Started moving inward on the batter, and Lampe couldn't hold up.
Grounder over to first. That'll sneak by Klassen. Rounding second and heading for third is Peter Burns, and Beavers lost the control of the ball. And that slippery baseball has caused Beavers some trouble in right field, not enough so that it has scored a run for Bourne, but it is something to be mindful of, Steph.
Yeah, I think he's had trouble with it even when it wasn't raining. We saw earlier when that first run came across, mishandled a play out in right field. You can only trust your arm so much, but you got to pick it up cleanly first. I don't think Peter Burns had any intention of going first to third there, but it's fortunate for him.
Kyler Fedko has a double and a run in this game. All he has to do is put one on the ground to the middle infield, and that'll score a run to make it 5-3. Anything else in the positive direction for the Braves will be the cherry on top to this at-bat, but chipping away at the Kettleers now are the Bourne Braves, who are not used to this situation. They haven't given up 5 runs in a game yet. First game, they beat the Harbor Hawks 3-0, and then absolutely routed the Brewster Whitecaps 9-1 on the Whitecaps' home field.
Yeah, this team's riding high, has a ton of confidence, expecting to do well, 2-0 coming into Lowell Park, but Lowell Park's a different animal. And now that the fans are starting to clear out a little bit.
And there's a fly ball into right field. It'll be Dylan Beavers. Most certainly tagging is Peter Burns. Here's the throw to the plate. It is not in time, but very close. And Kyler Fedko manufactures the 3rd run of the game against the Kettleers. It's 5-3 now. Talk about that arm from Dylan Beavers. Speaking of the Cape League East, standings are in. YD is in first with 1 win, 0 losses, and a tie. Same for Chatham in second place. Orleans is 1-1, and in third. As the runner goes, throw down to second from Donlin is in time, but Brown couldn't hang on to it. Matt Donlin headed for the dugout, and instead Joe Lampe gets a stolen base.
Yeah, couldn't have been a better throw from number 21 behind the plate. Pretty good pop time. We're told that he sits around 1.8, and for perspective, guys, that is major league level. Pop time, of course, referring to how quickly a catcher can get the ball in and out of his glove on a throw down to second or third base.
So now Reggie Crawford, who has a pair of walks and a run scored, will have his first statistical at-bat of the game if he doesn't walk. And now it's a 1-1 count. But back to the standings. YD in first, Chatham in second, Orleans in third, Brewster at 0-1-1 in fourth, the Harwich Mariners at 0-2. Bourne, the only team to win 2 games this season out of the 2 games played. As the rain really starts to come down now, and Brock slides in a slider to make it 1-2. And if the Kettleers faithful haven't dispersed yet, they have now. But a strikeout in the rain for Brock would work just fine for Cotuit. And he'll do just that. One run comes in to score for the Bourne Braves. It's 5-3 now when we return on the Cotuit Kettleers digital network.
This game's over. It is. It's going to be over. Want to close this? Wait, hold on. We're not dripping in here. Right? Are we dripping in here? We're going to dinner and then the sorority house, right? I guess. I don't really know. Is Mom going to get all that? Yep, they're tarping it. So is this game over, or what's the deal? I guess it is. We will learn in the coming minutes. How long does the game have to go before it is officially a final? 5? Well, it's supposed to rain through 10, it says. Yeah, but if they can play one inning, they're going to do it. Let's check the rule book on this. All right, let me go back live real quick. Did you guys turn off the stream? No, it's not. Okay. Why are you going back live? To let them know. They're putting the tarps on the field.
Tarp is on the field here at Lowell Park. We'll be updating you with any more information that we have about whether this game is going to be scrapped or resumed. As I talked about earlier in the game, no makeup dates in the CCBL. A lot of that has to do with the fact that the season was pushed back a week and shortened to 40 games. So you see the sand buckets are on the pitcher's mound and surrounding home plate. So 5-3 the score. So we're going to enter the top of the 5th inning at a time to be named later. We'll be back on the Cotuit Digital Network. Huh? Yeah. Oh, it is? Damn, I'm stupid. Glad I got my hot dog before the rain started coming down. Yeah, see, the thing is they're going to try, if it's one more inning that they have to play, they're going to. Inning and a half. What? Inning and a half? No, it wouldn't be the. Oh, yeah, technically. It would be just one inning.
So can we get a Roy Reese rendition of Rain, Rain, Go Away? Rain, rain, go away. Who's the picture on the
Tarps are coming off the field. We don't have word yet if they're going to come back and play this game, but it looks like the Kettleers are adamant that they want to finish this ball game, clinging to a 2-run lead, entering the bottom of the 4th inning. Now Tim Crowley joining me here for a second as we try to unpack what the Kettleers need to do to get through this.
Well, definitely, let's see what they want to do about the field. We saw Coach Roberts lead his team back on. He was the first one to start taking those buckets off the tarps, get this field ready to go as best as they can. See if they have a little bit of extra dirt they can try to spread around. But right now, we're not seeing a lot of puddles on the field. It's just going to be these umpires taking out, these coaches going out and trying to test the surfaces in between bases and see if this field's ready to go. You know, we're used to playing with the wet grass on the Cape. But if they can get this infield ready to go on the dirt, everything else looks fine. There's no puddles. It's just going to be about this surface that some of the coaches try to get out and see what we're looking with for a surface as the rain starts to die down here at Lowell Park.
Certainly interesting game planning and strategy. Not enough time really for any of the pitchers to have to really do a full warm-up again if the field is serviceable. But the Kettleers are coming up to bat. And Tim, walk me through what would be considered a win in a game like this?
Just staying where they are. I mean, this is a team that you want to come back. You don't know how much longer you're going to play if they get started again. So you'd like to score runs, but most importantly, it's just about finding a way to preserve this lead. You want to go out and try to score in the bottom of the 4th, but the biggest thing now is finding some arms. I would not expect to see TJ Brock coming back out for another inning after this. Just after what he's gone through the last couple of days and what his workload could be like anyways as he moves forward during the season, but also just trying to come back after a rain delay like this. Usually, even in Major League Baseball, you're not going to see. So it's going to be interesting if they come back, if we get through not just this half inning, but enter the 5th, what Coach Roberts wants to do with his pitching staff moving forward. And the question now just remains, A, are we going to play, and B, for how much longer?
Personnel starting to accumulate in both dugouts. Tim, one thing that we failed to mention is an official full game in the CCBL goes through 5 innings. So all they would have to do is go through their home half, batting in the bottom of the 4th. So they're going to try to resand this field really quickly before some of the heavier stuff comes back down. What's the strategy here? And we were talking about it, joking about it in the opposing booth downstairs, but you know, you could have the Kettleers try and speed this thing up, turn it over, take your 2-run lead, and try and just get those 3 outs and preserve a win should the rain come back, which is expected to happen.
And the clock is definitely the biggest enemy right now if you're both teams, because not only are you trying to fight the weather, you're trying to fight the elements, but this is also a field that, as our Kettleers fans know, there are no lights here, so you're also fighting daylight as well. It's about 6:45 right now here on the East Coast, so getting in whatever little bit of daylight you have through these clouds left is going to be huge if they're going to keep this game going.
Well, it's been fun moonlighting as weathermen here in the mid-4th inning. We're going to continue to watch what happens. Looks like they're going to try and put dirt on the pitcher's mound and the catcher's circle. 5-3 the score. We'll be back on the Kettleers Digital Network. One more time with Tim Crowley. I'm Stephen Carey. Looks like the players are taking the field as we enter the bottom of the 4th inning. So Tim, might play after all. The strategy could be to get the pace of play as quickly as possible because it's drizzling now, but who knows what's going to happen later.
We're going to get our answer as quickly as possible. The Braves are back on the field. They're getting ready to go. The battery's warming up. So got to give a lot of credit to this umpiring crew, this coaching staff for getting the field ready as quickly as possible. Got the extra dirt around the home plate area. You can see the circle still a little bit on your screen. So I'm going to say that the base paths are going to be fine. They're going to at least try to make sure they're as good as possible. We didn't see them out doing a ton of work in between the bases. So great job to try to keep this field in its best condition as they can. We'll see what the strategy is, Steph, as you mentioned, just trying to get through these 5 innings and try to make this a complete game. And especially in a year where with this compressed COVID schedule, there are no makeup games. So getting in as many games as possible, trying to fight these New England elements is going to be so crucial, not just for Cotuit, but for the entire CCBL.
All right, well, thank you, Tim Crowley, for a wonderful report. Chris Carey was down by the field trying to get a good idea of what was going down, but looks like we're going to play baseball again here at Lowell Park.
Thank you, Tim. The rain continues to go down, as you just addressed with our very own Tim Crowley. Wonderful job by him. Has some mic presence of his own that he uses at Hofstra University. Love to see him with the Kettleers and everything that he does on air, off air. He is such an integral part of what we do here in Cotuit. As Patty is still at work for the top of the order, Blake Klassen, Cole Cummings, and John Rhodes. You got to think at this point in time, the Kettleers are just trying to get the ball back to TJ Brock just in case the rain doesn't subside and they can qualify for the win after 5 innings should they hold the lead here.
Well, and that's the main mission, is get this game through 5 innings, get the home half done here in the 4th, then turn it over to the Braves. If you have a 2-run lead, that's not the most comfortable lead, but it's a lead nonetheless. If you can get a win, just get 3 more outs, you will solidify yourself as possible winners. So getting through this inning is going to be the key. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some signals to move the game along. But who knows what's going to happen.
So it looks like we're just about ready to play baseball, but Harvey Shapiro will talk to the home plate umpire, Tom Ryberg, about the dimensions of the park, the things in left and right. And you can't blame him. Bourne is at their first deficit of the season. There's a chance this could get rained out after 5. TJ Brock, the very, very, very solid pitcher from Ohio State. Cotuit needs to get through this inning offensively and pass the baton to their talented relief pitcher that's been throwing 95 with rain coming in his face.
Yeah, the expectation is that rain's going to come back in a thrash at 7:05. So they need to get through this inning as quickly as possible and turn it over to their arms in the 5th. It was expected that Bourne was going to take umbrage with the fact that this game was going to continue to go. They want to preserve their perfect record, and if they can get out of it with any type of chance of not having to finish this game now trailing by 2, they're going to do it. Clearly using as much time as possible to get their guys warmed up. But it looks like we're going to play baseball as Blake Klassen's still standing in the on-deck circle.
Baseline's just a little bit faded in the infield in the short white lines that connect to home, the infield grass, and then the infield grass, the first base bag. But we will indeed at least see one more pitch of baseball here in the bottom of the 4th inning, started with Blake Klassen, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout swinging and a fly out to left.
Got to be a weird situation for the Braves because they know if they don't get something going in the top half of this inning, they're going to lose the game. almost undoubtedly if somehow miraculously the rain avoids us.
And Klassen takes a shot at left. It fouls it away. 0-1 to start the bottom of the fourth. Thank you from the Kettleers Digital Network for bearing with us during this short delay. Wanted to keep as accurate of information as possible as the 0-1 from Patty comes in, and it is fouled away again by Klassen.
Yeah, I'm surprised how aggressive they're being right here. Coach Mike Roberts, of course, wants his players to get their hits, be good statistically in front of these scouts, but as an organization, you have to think the win might mean more than any of that other stuff. Both teams, I'm sure, have the same goal in mind, is get to the top of the fifth as quickly as possible, but for the Kettleers, maybe put some more runs across. That would just be icing on the cake if they can do it quickly.
Now the 1-2 pitch. Klassen shoots that one to left. It is foul, and he'll have to see another pitch. Hate to bring it up at this point, but the time constraint that Tim Crowley just gave us, 7:05, is when another system could be returning to Cotuit. As the rain keeps bearing down harder now at 6:55, that's 10 minutes of difference. And you can hear it off of our crowd mic. Now the 1-2. Inside, it'll even up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Coach Mike Roberts pushed forward the team to keep playing. This game is important to Cotuit. Get their second win of the season. And now a 2-2 pitch awaits Blake Klassen. And that'll ring him up for strike 3. Good pitching there from Jordan Patty. Blake Klassen has his second strikeout of the game. So now Cole Cummings, who has a single and a walk and later a run scored, will step in for the third time.
Yeah, more positives than negatives there on that strikeout. That's an out. Got to get through this quickly because you see the rain starting to come down. You can hear it on our field mic.
Fastball off the plate, and Cummings holds off for 1-0.
But strategically, if Bourne can make this inning last a little bit longer, this is one of the rare times I feel like you're going to see teams doing the opposite of what they should be expected to do. If they can play keep away with the strike zone, they might get this storm coming in and get this game rained out.
Cummings fouls that one away. It's a ball and a strike. Now, Steph, I have to ask you, we saw Jordan Patty take as many pitches as he wants. Is Mike Roberts going to tell TJ Brock or whomever's going to enter this game in the top of the fifth inning, should we get there, to possibly take less warm-up pitches to conserve time before that storm moves back into Cotuit?
There's no action in the bullpen, so I think it has to be somebody that has already been used. More than likely going to be TJ Brock. But now you just have to get to that inning. That's the big part of it, is getting to the fifth.
2-1 pitch, and Baldwin skies that one. Moving back is Agnos, sliding to his feet, but that gets over the fence line at Lowell Park. And a 2-2 count. And it looks like they'll retreat to the dugouts now. This may be the end of it, folks. Rain bearing down too hard. No official ruling yet of whether the game is going to continue or not. Only a few pitches from Jordan Patty. And they're going to wait it out. Just got official confirmation that they are going to wait this out. They recognize the system coming in at 7:05, but we will keep you updated. Thank you for tuning in to the Kettleers Digital Network. We'll be back.
Welcome back to the Kettleers Digital Network. Currently in a rain delay in the bottom of the fourth inning, with the Kettleers leading the Bourne Braves 5-3. Tim Crowley alongside Steph and Carey. And Steph, we just talked about seeing these tarps come off just a few minutes ago. They go back on, some players and coaches putting them back over home plate in the pitcher's mound. Last word we heard from the umpires, they're going to wait it out. We just saw a brief discussion between this crew and Coach Roberts. But as of right now, we're at a standpoint just trying to see where we're at. We had seen that the radars bringing rain back into the area around 7:05, so as we approach that, as we hit 7 o'clock on the dot right now.
Yeah, I don't see how you don't wait this one out with so few games and no makeup dates. This game is almost over by a ruling standpoint. If Cotuit can just get out of this inning and then play the top of the fifth and get 3 outs, we've talked about it a lot, that counts as a win for them. Or if somehow Bourne can manage to put together 3 or more runs, or 2 or more runs, then this game, of course, would go in their favor. But I really just didn't understand the approach. In the bottom of the fourth, we knew time was the enemy. I'm sure Peter Flaherty Jr. informed the coaching staff of the 7:05 belt that was coming through, but still swinging away and maintaining that type of integrity. You love to see it from these guys, still trying to get their licks in front of these MLB scouts, but got to move quickly. There's no tarp in the infield, no tarp in the infield grass either. Certainly could pose a problem, not just with the rain, but field conditions. You don't want to get these guys hurt ever, but especially not this early in the season. That's going to be a solid argument coming from Coach Harvey Shapiro of the Bourne Braves. And that's just what's expected, right? The Kettleers want to finish this game, play this game through because they're in the lead. Bourne, more than likely, wants to get out of town and get the heck out of Dodge while still having a perfect record. The Cape needs to recognize that these games need to be played, because if you have multiple rain delays and no makeups, the point system that we use will not be effective, because there's no games that you can make up with those points unless you come up with a system to maybe reward both teams at the point of the game, maybe 1 point for each team. Who knows what they'll decide. But it's going to be an unorthodox season, and this is just one of the many examples of how the playoff system is going to be affected.
In our next update we will get to you as soon as possible. We had seen right when we came back on, Coach Roberts talking to the broadcast crew, or the umpiring crew, they went over to the first base dugout to talk to Bourne as well. So we're going to see how long we're going to be waiting this rain delay out. See the Braves bullpen making their way in and trying to get out of the rain. We're getting word now that we'll have an official decision on whether or not we're going to start this game back up within the next 15 minutes. So definitely stay tuned. We will be here to bring you through. And Steph, we talked about it when we came on for our first weather update. The rain, obviously the biggest problem now, but at a field like Cotuit without the lights, sunset in Cotuit tonight is going to be at 8:19 p.m. So not only are you trying to wait out this rain, or at least get it back to a level of maybe a drizzle that you could play through, but now you're also working with an hour and 16 minutes of sunlight.
And another factor you have to consider is these guys taking as much time as they do for warm-ups. I'm sure with Cotuit they would rush their reliever if TJ Brock is the guy that comes back out to pitch. But it looks like we just got word that the game got canceled. So unfortunate for the Kettleers. They're going to call this one. And there's going to be no decision on this game despite Cotuit's 5-3 lead in the bottom of the fourth inning. So close but so far. Unfortunate decision by the umpires, but an understandable one at that.
So in game number 3 of the season, we have our first rain cancellation. The time of the cancellation, it was the bottom of the fourth inning and a 2-2 count, 1 out in the Kettleers half of the fourth with a 5-3 advantage for the home team. The game we did see saw a bounce-back performance out of the pen from TJ Brock after his appearance against Wareham in the home opener on Sunday. Able to bring that blazing fastball back to Lowell Park. John Rhodes getting it done with a 2-run broken bat single into center field. So plenty of positives for Cotuit as they get ready to go. They'll have an off day tomorrow, the first of the year. So we'll wait about 46 hours before we see this team back in action on Thursday in Orleans. We will be there have the pregame show with myself and Lauren Kirkley on YouTube before Chris and Steph take you throughout the action on MixLR.
Absolutely, Tim. It's going to be an excellent night at Eldridge Park at 7 p.m., one of the few stadiums in the Cape League that has functioning lights. But it looks like Coach Mike Roberts just got word that this game's going to be canceled. Bourne's packing up their stuff. Doesn't seem too happy about that decision, and I, for one, don't blame him. Well, we're going to wrap it up here from inside Lowell Park. Nobody gets the win or loss. Cotuit stays at 1 win and 1 loss. Bourne at 2-0. Action starts back up again Thursday, and we'll see you then on the Cotuit Digital Network or the Cotuit Radio Network. From Tim Crowley, Chris Carey, Lauren Kirkley, Owen Zides, Jack Roberts, I'm Stephen Carey, signing off.